Good evening, everybody. It's your humble and excited Baron Ormontag here for, I was thinking maybe a first of many of these open mic nights. And, I better get rid of that. Remove that. We don't need that no more. Hello, everybody. Good to see you all here. I kind of got the idea last week when I was talking with Rough Girl, and we kind of brought up about Art Bell, Coast to Coast, and how he had his east of the Rocky Line, west of the Rocky Lines, the wild card line for his time caller line. And I thought, well, wild card line, that sounds exciting. And maybe, just maybe, I might, for the last Wednesday of the month, have open mic night, which means I'm going to open it up to people. And right there in the chat, hopefully it has. And yep, Mr. Hail Mouse, he's there. Have that in there for the Streamlabs link. I'll put that in there periodically. Give a chance for anybody that they want to come on and join in. We just talk, banter, have a little bit of fun. Something rather new about the only rules is let's stay away from politics. We got enough of that. And please, for the love of Pete, let's stay away from Will and Chris. I think we've had enough of a run on those two hunyucks for the last couple of days out there. So I see that we have Luke the Kook has just joined us. Good evening, Luke the Kook. We also have the mighty super wrench himself, John Rendell, the lovely, beautiful, and talented It's Courtney in her Fellowship of Oddballs, which she was kind enough to have me join. And of course, the old man, he's sitting out there as well. And actually, I do have one weird request. You might want to say the former long-suffering Mrs. Dag won't be able to join the chat. She wanted to say hi to everybody. She's got a new job, and she likes to go to bed early. And I think we might have the first victim of Open Mic Night itself. He's part of a super secret organization. He knows where the bodies are buried. He helps the Martians kept under wraps. He helps keep Steve Gutenberg a star. It is John Fez for some reason. What happened to Fez for Hire? Rendell. Hey, how you doing there, buddy?
Oh, feeling a little chilly.
I noticed that. You look a little bald there on you.
Yeah, well, it started with a trim on the beard and ended up as a PennDOT job.
Isn't that how it always goes? I'm going to do a little trim and about 3 pounds of hair later. Oh, well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this thing, I could have knitted a new cat. Or at least a kitten.
Like that? This is from one brushing from the monkey, yeah. Mr. Mouse.
Yep. That's how my George was.
I know. And sometimes when I go out there and I have my my trimmings itself, that has that little tendency. I just want to let everybody know that everybody's welcome to join in. I think I have about 9 people. I think Streamlabs will let me on this. Yep. So as you all come in, please join in. We'd love to have a talk. I was thinking, I thought it'd be kind of fun. Maybe like every Wednesday, have one of these little get together with everybody out there. Kind of like how Doomcock has his member only chats, but I don't have, of course, monetized whatever, but chat only. Because, obviously you wouldn't know about it until you come into the chat. So everybody's welcome to come in. Yeah. So what new things have happened? I think the last time I talked to you was on Raymond Feliciano's page, channel as Dolphin TV. People, if you haven't, please find Raymond's channel, Dolphin TV. He's does a great job out there. One of the great wrenches for Doomcock himself and his producer Sandra,
and writer of the Dolphin Wars books.
Yep, I finished the first one. Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting restarted into that one. And he's got a Just Cuz kind of show like this coming up tomorrow night. I think it's 5 or 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And those are always a lot of fun, too, because Pudgy shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And just a laugh factory. But
in fact, on my tabs, I have Pudgy's stories, so I'm going through there and watching the adventure. These things need to be almost published.
Oh yeah, I wish he would. I've gone through everything right up to the current chapter, And it's weird, it's dramatic, it's funny, it's childish,
Mm-hmm.
it's everything. I mean, he's hitting every base in the field and 3 fields next door.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just a genius with what he's writing, and the stories are a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I just want to say hi to my fellow brother there from the Primetime Kings, Vigilante Williamson. I hope you're having
So,
fun packing for your big exodus to your new home here soon. So he's actually moving. So he's working hard out there. So love you, Vig. Good to see you. Thank you so much for showing some love.
very cool.
Yeah, I
Very,
know. It means kind of amazing. Those were off of just chats, wasn't it? I mean, the various chats that were in the on the page, wasn't it? Those pudgies.
yeah, yeah, and he's actually talking now, Pudgy himself, and it's very funny. You got to hear it for yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of fun, and once or twice in a row, he'll be a little difficult to understand,
Mm-hmm.
but you eventually catch on to the rhythm of it. But
I'm
it's just hilarious. And one of the things he came up with was Pudgy can unscramble an egg, and what was the other one? Well, I gave him the one Chuck Norris fears Pudgy's determined face,
mm-hmm.
and so I know what it was. He came up with, and you won't see 50 Shades of Pudgy.
Oh, thank God. He's too innocent for that. He
Oh yeah,
blushes at the. I know, and I'm starting to learn how to understand him. I got a little hearing problem and the tinnitus and all that stuff, but
oh you
I'm
too.
starting to get there. Yeah, I got that nice little ring, ring, ring
Yeah,
from.
this here is it's got that
Mm-hmm,
constantly, and
mm,
that all started with when I had my recording studio, which was a small home studio. I had a nice 24-track Mackie board, and it had some effects on it. I had some outboard gear, rack gear, and I still have the Tascam 80-8 tape recorder, reel to reel, same model that Tom Schultz used with Boston.
okay.
And one day I'm in the studio, headphones on, and my cat came in, distracted me for a few minutes, and I went to press one button and I pressed the other, and suddenly feedback. And it's been like that ever since. You don't want to do that. And of course, those headphones went flying across the room. George went flying out the kitchen and across the hall, and didn't see him again for half an hour. Because he doesn't like it when I scream. Apparently, neither do the neighbors. But
Are the people on the International Space Station?
yeah, yeah, they tend to complain a little bit about that. It interferes with their music from Kubrick's movies. So, you
And
know,
so we have to. In space, you can hear John Rendell scream.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. But
Yeah, I got
well,
mine from the old-fashioned way: shooting without Mickey Mouse ears and working in the airport without worrying.
ah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can
Young and
understand.
stupid. Mm-hmm.
Well, when I used to go shooting, I only had ever had 22s, so they weren't all that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But we used to go up at Avoca Airport. There used to be, when I was growing up, they had the observation deck and it had an outside. Well, after
Mm-hmm.
9/11, all that's gone. You can't get
Mm-hmm.
anywhere near the planes. You can't watch them, nothing.
Yeah, I
But
know.
we used to go up in there, and the planes are, 2 football fields away, and still, when they're revving those jet engines up, that
Mm-hmm.
sound just keeps getting louder and louder and louder. And it's like being near a house fire. You're a football field away, but you can feel that radiant heat coming at you hard. And it's
Mm-hmm.
the same thing with that sound coming in. And I think that started one or two things. But,
Mm-hmm.
um, that and somebody shooting off a cap gun next to my ear when I was a kid, that was not helpful. But, you know, I've got more aches, pains, injuries, and things that you know I shouldn't have. I'm too young to feel this old, you know.
I
But
know what you mean.
and you know, a lot of it is just I never went and got any medical help for it because I figured, well, this is the new normal. Live with it, you know. But uh, realizing now I could have had something done for some of this stuff,
Mm.
and it's a little late now. But what are you gonna do, you know?
Yeah, that's been my back. I should have done something earlier, but I got sick and tired of the doctor because they kept on saying three things to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're not getting any younger. It's
Yeah.
in your head, or you're just fat. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, or the combination of those. And after a while, I just washed my hands of the doctors. I refused to go to them. I was calling quacks and witch doctors and gritting, going through the pain and all that. But when the long suffering finally, because she's a pharmacy tech, so she
Ah,
works in a hospital or worked in a hospital. She doesn't work in a hospital no more. So
yeah.
you're not going to go any further than that. So they dragged me in. They did the MRI. The doctor. I was at work and I got the message: "You're to quit work now. You're going to quit." I was
Really?
working in a warehouse. And it's like the doctor, I think, was amazed I was still actually upright and walking
Wow.
because of my back that I had. It's a herniated disc, as they call it, the little jelly donut that's between
Mm-hmm.
the bones. He said there was a leakage and it hardened and it was pressing against my nerve for years. This hardened
Yeah.
matter, and yeah, that did my left side, sciatic nerve, all that fun stuff. So it's like great. So that's what I've been uh, changed my life completely. Let's just put it
Oh,
that way.
no doubt. No doubt. I ended up when I was 14, I went down a sliding board in my hometown in the little park there, and I hit both heels on the ground when I came down, and that shock went right up my back.
Mm,
And that was the first back problem. And that I should have been in the hospital then from the pain. But of course, stupid me, I just walked it off more or less. And it's been a pain in the back ever since, and for years I was walking kind of stooped over because of the lower back being screwed up like that.
hmm
And then working at the university, and you're all over the place going up and down stairs, heavy loads of tools and locks and panic bars and all
hmm
this. And at one point, I had to drive to a chiropractor, the first one I could find, get out of the van, basically slither down it, and drag myself literally into the office and just scream, "Somebody help me!" You know.
hmm
And he got me in there, did some X-rays. The discs have been deteriorating, so he managed to do the manipulations, and I was able more or less to walk out. I wasn't going dancing for any period of time. I hate dancing, so I grew up in the disco area, so we don't dance.
No, you gyrate.
Uh,
You make
no, when the dancing starts, I tend to go somewhere else. Where the sane people are, because I'm not going to be doing this kind of thing all day. And
see.
you know, screw that. Give me my Kiss records. But
And
that
I just want to say hi to the one lady here that we need most help from, the lovely and talented Whitney Webb, trauma warrior.
yeah, where was she when I went down the sliding board?
Yeah, no, we need you, Wendy, and of
Probably
course the
another
lovely
state.
Sherry.
Oh,
Lovely
the
Sherry's
lovely
there.
Sherry. Hello.
And then there's the old man. But I was going to go for Andy Masterson, the mighty figure maker,
Yes,
and of
Andy.
course, just want to let people know in the chat there, if you want to come on, we got those. I keep on posting in there for the stream yards. Come on in and let's chat. We're going to have fun tonight. Just a little party tonight. Just
Mhm.
relax, sit back, and enjoy ourselves and talk about our old bodies. Not talk about the weather.
Yeah. Speaking of which, hey, it's over zero here. It's
Oh
actually
wow.
34 degrees. We're
Okay.
having a heat wave, man.
Yeah, we kind of got the same thing, but we got about rainy, sleety, mushy weather out
Yeah,
there.
that's about it. That's about it here.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite slushy, but it's that rain that is teasing. You turn on your windshield wipers and you say, "Come on, rain already! I can't stand that squeaky noise."
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, of course, a couple of weeks ago we got the what I like to call the spring kick in the nuts. 170-degree day, and then it goes straight downhill from there.
Yeah, we kind of had the same thing here too. I think ours went your way. So we had that
Yeah,
nice weather, went to hell, and then of course
yeah.
kept on going to the east there. Wendy, of course, letting us know about her going out there and sunning herself in the 92-degree weather, drinking those nice cool drinks, and saying, "Ah, the life."
Yeah, gotta love it. Gotta love it. I would like to visit Texas one day, specifically Galveston, because one of my mother's ancestors was in Galveston when they had that huge storm. I think it was early 20th century, late 18th or 19th century. I forget when it was, but it was a huge storm that wiped out Galveston, and she brought back pictures of it. And we've got those in a photo album. I think it's in storage.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to see the area now and try and figure out where these pictures were taken.
Oh no! Oh wow! And the poor, lovely Whitney Webb. Oh, she's got laryngitis. A
Uh-oh.
lot of people wish I would have that. Actually, my daughter has laryngitis right now. So she's going around as the long suffering sits back and says, "Honey, your son's on the phone because she sounds like a gravelly voice and all that."
Mm,
John's got that important
yeah.
call coming in. Toot, 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 toot.
Well, it's that text from Verizon that said that every month says it's time to pay your bill.
Yeah, aren't those
I
wonderful?
don't want to pay my bill. Of course, I need the boat anchor to be working, so
Yeah,
no.
and I got to pay my garbage bill. The last time I was in Texas, actually, it was when I was going around coast to coast doing Viking stuff, selling mugs that they had at the Olympics, and
Ah,
we had some people that tagged along. We went from Florida across the South there through Louisiana, Alabama, all that down
mm,
there, and they were getting dropped off in Texas because that's where they lived and that's where we're heading for. And
mm,
the one guy I had, he wanted to be dropped off downtown Dallas. So I go around there and he wanted me to drop him off at the courthouse. So I go around, drop him off at the courthouse. We did our show there, and no more than when we got back, no more than a week after we got back, guess what news hit?
no.
The bombing down there. I was right there in front of that courthouse, like a couple of weeks before. Boom.
Yeah, that's the one where they went and railroaded that one fella,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it was somebody else did the bombing, but his
Mm-hmm.
life was pretty much ruined.
Mm-hmm.
Poor guy.
Mm-hmm. And we have Zach's in the house. Hey, Zach, how you
Hello,
doing,
Zach.
buddy? And
Okay.
and like I said, the invite's out for everybody there. If they want to come on in and join along with the fun, uh, please do. Yeah, so yeah, it's like I remember, of course, the dark humor of it all. When I got home, turned on the news, and they go, yeah, the Merle building had explosion. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, I didn't do it because I was right there.
Yeah.
So there's that dark humor that we always seem to have when stuff like that. Oh, you're going for the big stuff. There, what, that 2 liter Coca
Oh yeah,
Cola?
I go through 2 of these a day.
Mm. I worked hard. I got myself down to 1 can of cola.
Yeah,
I need to have that in the morning because I don't drink coffee. I'm not a coffee guy, but I need my
yeah.
caffeine.
I can't drink the coffee because if I drink too much of it, 2 or 3 cups, you'll see my chest actually moving from the heart going.
Mm.
And I used to sit in the one restaurant down the road with my buddy, and we drink coffee, and of course they were dumb enough to give us refills for free. And we'd be there all day drinking coffee, and by the end of it, you were seeing my heart come out like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. You know? Yeah. And I started to get the idea maybe I shouldn't be drinking that much coffee. or any. So
Yeah.
I got into the Diet Coke heavily, and then something happened a year or two ago, and I switched over to Diet Pepsi. Because,
Okay.
I wasn't as offended. But
Oh, okay. Hmm.
you know what I mean?
I think I do. I think I kind of do.
But that
And
and the store up the road has Diet Pepsi, so,
mhm.
it's there. But
And
I'm just not into the Gatorade and all the other stuff, the
mhm.
Monster drink or whatever. You know, I'm afraid
you know,
that'll do the same thing coffee does to me.
See, I to put there what that Wendy was on there about she's the only nurse that doesn't drink coffee or doesn't like coffee. When I was working, I worked at the medical center here that we have in town. Actually, I wasn't in the. I was working in a shop that was in their
Hmm.
restaurant. And
Yeah.
I tell you, the one thing you had to keep on stock or you'd be lynched was Diet Coke because those girls would
Hmm.
come in, and that's what those nurses, those techs, the assistants, the doctors all lived on was coming through, and they wanted the Diet Coke, Diet Coke,
Yeah.
Diet Coke.
Yeah. And of course, one of the reasons I liked the Diet Coke was the taste, but the other was it produced these belches that were absolutely record. You know, And when I was volunteering at Steamtown, we have the old uh, diesel shop there we're in. And it's a huge cinder block steel and brick building. And if
Mhm.
I let out one of these epic belches, it resonated through the entire building, you know, and it was just lovely.
You know what gets me doing that is the long suffering started doing these protein shakes in the morning. These they're low fruity
Mm.
concoction and all that, and they're not bad. But I tell you, I get done with one of those, I let out a huge belch. It's like I get up and all of a sudden, whap! The dogs jump about 3 feet off the ground. And it's like, whoa, I don't know where that came from, but it just surprised. It just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Mm.
Yeah. One of those things. But the worst belches was when I started on the Ozempic for the diabetes. And
Mm.
that gives you some people, and it's not all the time, but when you're first starting it, you can get the sulfuric acid, the rotten egg smell burps, and it doesn't end with the belch. It's that smell is in your mouth all the time
Yeah.
until such time as you throw up enough and get rid of it. And that happened to me. But
Mm.
the first day that I had it, I was at that shop at Steamtown, and three of my friends were in the cab of the one diesel there checking on the progress of the work that was being put back into service.
Hmm.
And I was standing outside on the maintenance platform looking in the window, and I just let one of those belches out, emptied that cab so fast, and they were ready to throw up from it.
Hmm.
So warning about Ozempic, that stuff for a little bit will do that. But
Well, I
thank God it was temporary.
Well, I just want to say we have somebody else who is willing to jump into this wild show that we have going on tonight. We have Mike Pacific 414 himself who decided to
Awesome.
join us tonight. Hello, how you
Welcome.
doing there, Pacific?
I'm doing well, Baron. How are you gentlemen tonight?
Mm.
Excellent. Excellent. Good
Yeah,
to
I'm
see
not
you.
feeding the worms yet.
Yeah, and that reminds me, fishing season's coming up, so we got to get that bait ready.
Hmm.
Because I
Yeah.
haven't been fishing for 20 some years. So this year, my buddy Louie invited me to come along. And, it'll be a new experience.
Hmm.
'Cause the last time I went was in 1995, I think. And I went out and got the license, the pole, some new tackle, bait. I went down to the river in Tunkhannock, tossed the line in, got bored in about 30 seconds, and never went back. I just wasn't feeling it anymore. I
Mm.
used to go fishing a lot when I was younger, but you know, it's just one of those things. And being so involved in the fire companies took up most of my time anyway. Because at one point I ran with 5 different volunteer fire companies. And that leads to a little thing called burnout.
Yeah.
And boy, did I. One too many dead kids will do that to you. And it's like, nope, that's it. It's over. I've done my bit for God and country. Time to move on. Then right after that, 9/11 happened. Not to bring anybody down or anything.
Well, to bring people down right now, we do have a first timer, I believe, here sitting in the back here. This will be his first time, I think, on any YouTube stream. It is my father himself, the old man there. So,
well, hello, old man.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
It's like, oh, I should have waited to shave the beard. Yours is better than mine was.
Yeah. Well, he does Santa Claus work, so you might have to turn your speakers down a little bit because we got a little bit of feedback there, old man.
Who, on me?
Well, to bring people down right now, we do have a timer, I believe, here. So I think you have your other one running there, so that sounds better. So, of course, Mike has next week has his wrestling show coming on here on his channel. I think that's on
It's going to be April 9th at 8 p.m.
April 9th, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we're still getting the echo there.
Yeah, we still got the echo there, old man. A little bit. We got a little bit of feedback. I'm going to put you on mute for a moment. Yeah, you. Yeah, you got a lot of echo going back there. Yeah, you. I think you have your other one running there. So. Do you have your YouTube running as well? Of course, Mike has I'm just going to mute you for a second there. What you need to do is you need to turn off or turn down your YouTube volume. And because it does that. Well, you're an old radio man. You should know better about that. Yeah, I got those numbers mixed up. It's on the 9th at 8 o'clock for Pacific. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be bringing in a little bit more of the older stuff because I haven't followed up with the newer stuff. So hopefully I won't be too much of a drag on your show there.
No. I've already told people, as far as the past of wrestling is concerned, it's your past where you started watching it. Yeah. And whether it was for one of the bigger promotions like AWA or WWF, WE, whatever you want to call the WWE now, but you start with your past, what your present was as far as how long you can continue to watch pro wrestling, and as far as the current stuff, I'm sure I could fill you in on what's going on with the current stuff during the live stream. I have a couple buddies of mine who are going to be on the live stream as well.
I think I'm turning the right thing down. I don't know.
So it's going to be a fun stream. If you don't mind, I do want to announce who's going to be on the show. If you're okay with that.
I'm more than happy to. More than happy to.
Well, of course, Baron's going to be on the show. Also, I have invited Brandon, the anime guy, to be on the show. Awesome. And he has accepted. Paul from the Star Wars guys is going to be on. The Padawannabe is going to be on. My two buddies, Quidman Jenkins and Keen Phoenix, are going to be on. And I've also invited Stone Loki to be on.
Oh, Stone Loki. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I met him finally a couple the other on Saturday, I think it was on Pulp Culture Minefield. Their morning show.
Nice.
Saturday morning show. So,
very nice. So
do you still have your YouTube up there?
On? The Padawannabe is going to be on.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that good old Paul is a big wrestling guy.
Yeah, he is. And I also wanted to give another update because I'm still getting feedback from our collector stream that we had earlier this month. And people are saying, when are you going to have another one? So right now, what's running through my head is the second one is going to be in May on the 14th.
Okay. So you're going to go really super wrestling there, huh?
Yeah, as far as that April 9th stream is concerned, everybody's going to have their own points of view. What was the best era?
Mm-hmm.
And, your favorite superstars. Who were your favorite wrestling stars to watch growing up? Who was your favorite tag team? Your favorite factions? Your favorite feuds?
Mm-hmm.
I remember Gorilla Monsoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he eventually became a broadcaster for WWE, and his banter between him and Jesse the Body Ventura, that was always fun to listen to. And
yeah, I remember seeing the wrestling in black and white when I was a kid on television.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't understand it, but it was there. And then, of course, a few years later was the era of Jay Strongbow and Sergeant Slaughter, the Iron Sheik.
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point, Andre was a midget. That was back in the old days.
But that's the kind of perspectives I want to get on the show on that April 9th stream is from folks that watched it before WWF took it into the entertainment valley and it became the spectacle that it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because at Clifford Firehouse down the road from me, we used to watch on Monday nights. And this was in about 97, 98. And there was this one pair, I think they were brothers, but it wasn't so much wrestling as it was acrobatics. And they were masked, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the acrobatics these guys did around the ring was something out of the Olympics. Just amazing to see what they could do.
Mm-hmm.
And that was...
any better?
There we go. I think we got it.
Oh,
I finally figured it out. I'm old, remember?
Welcome to my world.
I got you by a few years, believe me.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Well, we talked about that on the chat.
How are you doing, old man?
Just great, thank you. Love having you in here.
Love being a part of Baron's stream.
Yeah.
I always love having everybody here.
You and John together?
Yeah.
And me on the air? I can't believe it.
Good to be with you, sir.
I never believed that I could actually plug in.
Well, that's the thing. I had no knowledge about this till I got one of Ray Feliciano's streams. He invited me in. And then, of course, I did the same thing you were having trouble with. Was I had the YouTube going and the StreamYards and something else. And I don't think I had the headphones on right. And, of course, now it's working without headphones for some reason, which is nice because, with the tinnitus, I don't like headphones anymore.
Well, I'm in here courtesy of you, StreamYard.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is the big thing that we use here is the old StreamYard. It's kind of like Zoom, but cooler.
It came as a real shock that I could actually do this. I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Hail Low Spec Linux Laptop. Welcome to the show.
Hello, and Hart Brothers. Oh, sorry, I'm reading that wrong.
Oh.
It's, it's the lack of a beard. I'm going through withdrawal, and it's affecting my eyes.
Well, it's like Dark Knight. He had his mustache shaved off, and it's like, it's like Samson. You start losing some cognitive stuff when that happens out there. It's like, as I was recounting the story, when I about almost 10 years ago, or about 10 years ago, I have a joke. I shave every 10 years, whether I need to or not. And I decided to shave the whole sucker off. So I shave it all off. I'm sitting in the house, and the long-suffering, she comes home, walks through the door, and she starts looking at me, and then starts laughing. And she kept laughing and laughing and laughing. And between, the guffaws, she goes, "Don't you ever do that again." So I am not allowed to shave. Because I got one of those old baby faces. Like, as Gary would sit back and say, "They love you in prison."
Many years ago, I shaved my beard and mustache off. Went into a place where everybody knew me. Not one person in there knew me. It wasn't until I opened my mouth and they heard my voice, and they all dropped over from shock. We had to call paramedics to come and take care of them.
Gotta love it. Yeah, something like that happened to me at my Masonic Lodge one night. I walked in with it shaved off completely, and who is this guy? Like, me. Hello. And of course, I left enough that I can start growing back very quickly, because I don't like it completely off, because I end up seeing my father's face, and he's been dead for 10 years now, and it's, I'm not into ghosts. It scares me.
What degree Mason are you?
I'm, let's see, right now, Blue Lodge, I'm senior warden. In the Royal Arch, I'm a past excellent high priest. And in Commandery, I'm past commander of Packer Commandery number 23 in Jim Thorpe. And that was for their 150th anniversary. Next year, I'll be master of my Blue Lodge for their 175th anniversary, and I'm also the historian there. So it's a lot of fun for me doing all that. And of course, this is the lodge all my ancestors were in.
He has a nice little collection of swords back there. And from
the Baron and I went to a Masonic temple to teach them how to make chainmail.
Oh,
yeah,
neat.
The local Scottish Rite.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd love to learn how to do that one of these days. Because somewhere we have a silver chainmail sporran that went with the Scottish kilt, and what it is the purse that's on the front.
Oh, and yes.
My sister had that in her collection before she passed away, and I think it's still at my brother-in-law's house. But I'd love to see if I can get that fixed, because some of the little rings, and these are really tiny, they ripped apart in the one area. But as far as I know, it's all silver. But I'd love to get that.
I know several people who can help you fix that.
Really? Awesome.
Oh, yes.
By the way, I know I've done. Oh, by the way, Pacific, you do have wrenchability. So if you want to put the link to that show or your page, go right ahead on there and let people know. So
I will do, brother.
Yep. So I want to make sure. And Courtney had one question there, I think, for you, Fez for Hire. Did he say Jim Thorpe?
Yep, formerly Muck Chunk. And Jim Thorpe was, the town was named after the athlete Jim Thorpe. And the story is something to the effect of he was an Olympic athlete who they took his medals away because he had done, I think, a pro ball game at one point. And they didn't know where to bury his body when they died. Nobody really wanted it. And the people of Mog Chunk said, well, tourism, bring him here. And they named the town after him, or renamed the town. So there's a big thing on now to try and get it back to Mog Chunk, which means Bear Mountain in the local Native American language. But we'll wait and see what happens with that. And it's a really nice place. They call it the Switzerland of the Americas because of all the mountains around it. Really beautiful town, and they've done a nice job preserving a lot of the history and the buildings. And they do run a steam locomotive excursion out of there, often pulled with diesels, but they have 2 steam engines. One's about to come out of the shop, one's just gone in. And really nice trip through the mountains, very scenic. River, the Lehigh River is there, and lots of woods and cool stuff to see.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like the Norwegian Riviera we have up there by Duluth, where you have all along there. We have that train museum, train excursions. Of course, all the ships coming in all
Yeah.
that good stuff. I think I saw my mother there.
You
My mother
did.
was, yeah.
Your mom's just here.
Ah, she's afraid to be seen. She's afraid to
Yes,
say hi.
she's hiding.
Well, I saw that
Oh.
the long-suffering Mrs. Tag in the chat here.
Mm-hmm.
So, hello.
Yep, she's in there. She's making sure I behave. So now she's probably making sure the old man behaves.
Mhm.
Yes, you're right.
Awesome. But,
But like I said, this is an experiment. Anybody can talk about what they want to do. So
Yeah.
feel free to pipe up and
You know,
bring
that's
in
one
whatever.
thing. I'm extremely delayed in my production to the words I'm saying.
Oh,
okay. Oh, there's
sometimes
like
it's
an echo? Or, yeah, not echo.
a delay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the what do you call
That-
it?
Yeah, sometimes you get that with the StreamYards. That's why people don't do singing, because people will be off when they start singing on these things. Can't
Yeah,
do
I
it.
don't-
Kind of hard.
I don't remember.
I'm
I
watching
don't
myself
remember.
crack my head from about 5 minutes ago.
Well, Baron, I don't know if you remember when they tried to sing Happy Birthday on Doomcock's channel one night. They had like 6 people in the panel, and it sounded like a train wreck. And of course, everybody coming in their own key.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love it.
You do. It's a good thing I wasn't singing. That's for sure.
Mm. Yeah, I don't sing much either. I got a voice like a raped frog, so
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
You're better
What
than me because Amnesty International has an injunction against my singing. It's called cruel and inhumane punishment.
yep.
So
The CIA
besides,
wants to hire me
Love it.
to do special interrogation.
okay, Wendy, you have a good evening. Thank you for stopping by, and
Well, thank you, Wendy.
it'll be interesting to hear that story that you have there.
Yep.
Scheduled to assist in a redo heart valve. So I know those people are under good care. She's there, so you know she's good. So thank you for stopping by, Wendy. It's good to see you. And besides the wrestling show you have been planning on working on there, Pacific, what other exciting things have you been going about?
Well, let's see. Tomorrow, I will be doing a live stream with Cash, the Smoking Patriot, and Whoopa Troopa, and we will be talking about the upcoming Major League Baseball season. I'll be giving it from the perspective of a Cub fan. Cash will be giving it from the perspective of a Dodger fan. Whoopa will be giving it from a perspective of a Cardinal fan. And to have a Cub and Cardinal fan all on the same stream, I don't know. All hell might break loose. And the Smoking Patriot's going to give from perspective of a Red Sox fan. So we'll be talking about that. And also next Thursday, it'll be season 4 of the Box Score, where I recap as many Cub games as I can and give my honest opinion on what happened in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Who's representing Pittsburgh Pirates?
Pirates, they need to get rid of their ownership. They really do. Their ownership has.
I remember years ago, I think it was in the 90s, I read something in the one paper that their entire salary for all the players was less than what one of the guys on the New York Yankees was making by himself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was, I guess, in a really bad time for them. I don't follow sports that much myself, so I don't know if they even still have a team.
Well, as far as having a competitive team, it's been almost 10 years since they were last in the playoffs, and it's sad. They've had great players come up through their minor league system, but it seems like they've become everybody's farm team. You need another pitcher in your bullpen? Well, here you go. You need a starter. Here you go. You need a little bit extra thump in that lineup? Here you go.
That was the Minnesota Twins
not
long ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how was the preseason shenanigans leading up to the series with everything that was going on? How has that has that dampened the baseball season at all? Do you think, or are people kind of?
I think it has. I think because baseball didn't take care of their CBA when they should have, and a lot of that does have to do with Rob Manfred and the Players Union. I don't hold one more responsible than the other. I hold them both responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Because they let the previous CBA expire. That's why we had a 99-day lockout.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was they waited 40 days before they even started negotiating at the negotiating table to come up with a new CBA. And you're looking at the calendar, you're saying, okay, spring training was supposed to start on February 26th. It didn't start till 2 weeks ago. And next week, there's, just the last few days of spring training before the season begins on the 7th. So not only did you have to come to an agreement and make sure that the players and the owners agreed on everything, which they didn't, because one of the things they were arguing about was minor league pay, and the owners weren't so willing to pay the minor leaguers a little bit more extra money, since the minor leaguers don't make a whole lot of money
Right.
when they're down there. And it doesn't matter if it's single A, double A, triple A, they don't make a lot of money. It's not until they get onto the big league roster where they start actually making their money. So they're arguing about that. And then they're arguing about whether or not in double headers, if they're still going to go, if there's 7-inning double headers, or if they're just going to go with the traditional double headers where they're 9-inning games. And then, of course, one thing that I particularly don't care for, and I'm not afraid to say it, is their rule when it comes to extra innings, having a ghost runner essentially standing there at second. Whoever was the last guy to bat in the previous, inning, the 9th inning, well, in the 10th inning, he'll come out there and he'll stand at second. And that's one extra inning rule I wish they had done away with. They had talked about doing away with it, and instead of completely wiping it from the slate, they brought it back for another season. And I don't care for that rule because I think a win needs to be earned.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't believe that you should have a ghost runner out there at second to score the winning run. You have to earn it. So try to get on base via a walk, via a hit, Still a base if you have to.
I'm old school. I want them to go back to the rules of the 50s.
Yeah.
That was when baseball was baseball, believe me. And I remember it damn well.
Well, here's the coup de grace, because it's related to baseball of the 50s, where it didn't matter if it was the American League or National League. The pitchers hit. No longer the case.
Yeah.
No longer the case. Effective this season, there's a DH in both the American League and National League. I'm a National League purist.
Yeah.
I want to see the pitcher come up there and at least try to get a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I remember seeing films of Dizzy Dean and Enos Slaughter, and they were pitchers who both hit, and they didn't seem to have any problems. Of course, I like a lot of the old school stuff. I watch a lot of old movies, videos of old sports games and things, car races. And NASCAR's done a lot of the same stuff. They've changed so much over the last 20 years. It's just no longer relevant.
What the hell about NASCAR is a real Ford, a real Chevy, a real Dodge?
Yeah. I mean, it seems ever since King Richard retired, it hasn't really been relevant. It's just not NASCAR anymore.
No, they got these plastic cars out there that are supposed to look like something.
Yeah. And there was the incident the other day. Bubba Wallace had a wheel fall off because they're using only one lug on the wheel, a central lug. I mean, that's just crazy at the speeds they're going in that kind of a car on that kind of a track.
Mm-hmm.
You only
Because
Sounds
need
like they're
lug in Formula Racing, not in
Yeah.
NASCAR.
right, right. I mean, the old days, it was dangerous. Yes, it still is now. But they've changed everything like the chase and going into these three-phase races. You race a little bit, you stop, you start again, and do the whole thing over. And it's just ridiculous. It's not what NASCAR was.
No, it started out of nothing more than a bunch of moonshiners.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And that was back in the days when my dad was racing. He raced midget cars.
Oh yeah,
And
really?
yeah, before the advent of the roll cage. And
oh,
he told me he had raced Spencer's father once, and a very young Mario Andretti. This was back in the late 50s. And my grandfather objected, because especially after my dad's accident, before they had the roll cages, those cars would flip, and my father ended up with a steel bar right in front of his eye.
bye, Courtney. Have a great night. Thank you. Sorry
Have a
about
good
that.
night,
Did
Courtney.
he race rigid, in his racing, was it a rigid?
I think it was. Him and his buddies had bought a car or built a car. And the reason they did that is my dad used to take my grandfather's regular car. He'd take it on the weekends, take the carburetor off, and put a different carburetor on it and race that on dirt tracks. And again, my grandfather found out and objected strenuously, and he used a closed fist when he objected. But no, that was quite the thing, and it was very rare Dad would talk about that stuff for just that reason. He didn't want to disappoint his father anymore. But he was, at the time he was doing it, he was having fun. But after that wreck and after Grandpa Jim went after him, he wouldn't talk about it much after that.
You may not know this, but the Baron used to race cars when he was young, and he got a
Really?
hell of a lot of trophies.
Cool. Yeah,
The quarter
Nice.
midgets. It was quarter midgets that was part of for couple years. Two
cool.
cars, and can't remember 2-3 years. I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly how long. Down in Elko, Minnesota, where they have a big racetrack down that way.
Mm.
And in Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the powwow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Blackhawk.
I always get
Yeah.
Iowa and Indiana mixed up, and I don't know why. They look completely different.
And they're a hell of a way apart, too, believe me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's one of those things. I often get Gregory Peck and the other guy confused, Robert Mitchum. And I don't know why.
Really? That's a hell of a mistake.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just one of those things, every person in my brain has to have an alternate version, so to speak.
On the 1st of
I don't
April,
know why.
1954,
Yeah.
the federal man sent agents out to, and when his engine roared, they called the highways Thunder Road.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love that movie.
Great
There was
movie.
there was a movie about Junior Johnson many years ago. I remember the title song was "I've Got a Name." I think that was Jim Croce's song.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was all about how Junior Johnson got into the racing at the beginning of NASCAR. It's pretty neat.
Junior was one heck of a racer. I remember every bit of his racing.
Really?
I'm that old.
Yeah, because I love seeing the old movies and the old sports games and things, old races. I was watching Secretariat's races for the Triple Crown last night,
Oh,
and they're on YouTube, and there's so much history in there and so much fun, and like with Pacific with the wrestling, there's a lot of the old wrestling on there.
Oh yeah.
And even up
Mhm.
into the 70s, my era, you know, there wasn't Wide World of Sports. It was after that, I think. But, you know, you didn't know if it was real or not at my age then. And you
Of
kind of
course,
wondered about these people.
you know, I mean, especially up here in Minnesota, we have such a big history of wrestling.
Hmm.
With Gagne and all that, the AWA, of course, Jesse the Body Ventura came from up here, and
Yeah.
uh, as everybody
Crusher.
knows, he became the Crusher. We had Nord the Barbarian, Baron von Raschke. All those, are ingrained with the AWA around the Minnesota that we had.
I remember way back when they had the wrestling at the right across from Nokomis. And anyhow, in that, one of the wrestlers got thrown out of the ring. The guy jumped out of the ring after him. He picked up a chair. He hit him over the head with the chair. It was not a breakaway chair. He put him
Ooh.
in the hospital for a
Ooh.
while. When those
Yeah,
two came back in the ring for revenge, that
Mhm.
was a real honest to God blood mash. It was fantastic.
Well, didn't something like that happen to Roddy Piper?
I think so. I loved Roddy.
Yeah, he was back in 97, 98 when I was watching it at the firehouse. And it
Yeah.
was more entertaining. Of course, by that time we knew it was all scripted, but it
Oh,
was
yeah.
still
Roddy
fun.
really put on a show.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he did.
And he was a
And
hell of an actor, too.
yeah, I was
Mm.
surprised by that.
I come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Mm.
Damn good movies.
Hmm.
Yeah, we had
Well,
fun movies in the 80s.
it's
We
amazing how
did.
Andre the Giant with some of the stuff that he did with movies and all that, and
Oh,
of course
Mhm.
Roddy
yes.
Piper.
Right?
Uh, Even I mean, I'm right now. I gotta finish it up. I just at the last hour, but In Search of Tomorrow, a documentary about the '80s science fiction cinema that they have out there.
Mhm.
It's okay. I mean, I think it could have been better, but of course, needless to say, they talk about the films such as The Running Man and Predator, which of course had Jesse in it,
Yeah.
uh, and all that. So it's you take a look at it where the wrestlers would get in there and start doing it. You could tell they were having fun. It was
Oh, yeah.
enjoyable. We need more of that. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when China was making her big move, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and I don't know. I'll say. I think I'll save this story. I'm not even going to tell the story until the next we have our show
Yeah.
Pacific. So I don't want to. I don't want to shoot everything, but I got some cute stories on those
I
aspects.
understand, but I do have a question.
Yeah.
Hulkamania or Macho Madness?
Oh.
Mm.
That's a hard one.
It was my era.
Oh, that's hard.
Lou Albano was the manager with the rubber bands and the beard.
Yep.
Mhm.
And Cyndi Lauper was involved in that somehow or another.
Yeah,
That's
she
Yeah.
the
was
first
like,
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
yeah, she was. Yeah, he was trying to be her manager, and she was supposed to be the wrestling, wrestling for the girls, and
Yeah.
that was wild. Oh,
Something about that. And I think at the one match, somebody brought a guitar into the ring and was going to smash it over somebody. I don't know if they did or not. I don't remember. I
I can't.
remember it was a red guitar, though.
Hmm.
Do you
And it's
remember
funny.
the wrestling
Mhm.
match where the ladies got stripped? And supposedly at the last moment, when the one wrestler woman was going to get stripped naked,
Mhm.
the lights went out.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that one.
Yeah. Just my luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
You know.
well, it's kind of funny right there. You can talk about Captain Lou there. He did Mario Brother for the Mario Brother
Yeah,
cartoon show.
Did he?
I was gonna say it was
Oh,
part of
that's
the
nice.
Mario Brothers Super Show, and
Yeah,
I remember watching that as a kid and seeing Lou Albano. I'm going, that's not Mario, that's Lou Albano.
yeah.
That's neat. I didn't know that.
And even though I'm kind of with the old one, it's like it was so hard to picture Mean Gene being a wrestler because he's always out there. He had those great pipes for being that announcer and talking aside there. And then I saw where he went out in the ring. Older guy, he's out there in the ring and he's mixing it up. It's like, wow, I didn't know Mean Gene could do that.
Same with Bobby the Brain.
That was a shock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bobby Brain Heenan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Was it?
who's the other one? Ric Flair, the Nature
Yeah.
Boy.
Oh yeah.
hell yeah.
Nature Boy.
Jungle Boy or whatever the hell he was.
Yeah. He was crazy.
That was insane stuff back then. I suppose Hulk, but I always liked Macho Man. I mean, snap into a Slim Jim.
Yeah.
But
I was
Gonna
watching
see
the night
some
that Flair
burn. I
resigned.
will see you on
To hung it all
Saturday,
up.
April 9th, where we're gonna have a little bit of madness. Ooh yeah. I couldn't resist.
oh, I was hoping someone would do that. Yeah, he was wild, was it? Oh, they're all wild, and I don't know. I think something. I think we've lost something a little bit in the ages.
We
I have
have.
to confess, and
Well, he's overexposure.
Do you remember when Hulk? I mean, not Hulk, but I mean Vern Gagne was charged with murder because he killed somebody with a choker hold in the nursing home.
I recall
well, I thought it was
something, but what sticks in my mind is Jimmy Superfly Snuka was charged with murdering his girlfriend or his wife or something.
Mm-hmm.
well, they didn't charge Vern Gagne. Unfortunately, it was one of those situations because Vern Gagne sadly was suffering from Alzheimer's, and he was in the Alzheimer's home. And something happened in there, and I don't think it was a chokehold. I think it was a full-fledged body slam. Picked him up and threw him down, like on one of those wrestling moves. Of course, it was an older gentleman than that was, and both sides sat back, and everybody involved said that this was just a sad situation because, unfortunately, with the Alzheimer's and how it was affecting, what could you do in such? So,
Yeah.
that was the sad thing about the last days of Vern Gagne.
I'm trying to remember.
Some years back, I was in a tug of war with his kid and Medusa. Oh, yeah. And Larry the Axe Henning in a tug of war. It was one hell of an event, believe me.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, they actually had this
Great.
fat old man in a tug of war with them.
You think about the Axe, and then of course Kurt Hennig, and then Kurt Hennig's son, and that's a wrestling legacy right there.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Remember when Larry the Axe Henning went from a bad guy to a good guy?
That was in the in between years, must have been. I missed that.
He was walking out of a bar and he saw a woman being attacked in a parking lot. He went over to rescue her. He got stabbed.
Oh,
While he
dear.
was in the hospital recovering, everybody changed him from being a bad guy to a good guy.
Well, there you go.
That's for real.
Yeah. Interesting.
All these have such great stories when you get involved with it, behind the scenes and the craziness and such. Pacific, what do you attribute to kind of the not as the luster going out of wrestling? Is it the head guy Vince McMahon? Do you think behind it, or
I do think Vince needs to step down, and I'm going to say this during our stream on the 9th. I think Vince needs to step down and hand the reins to somebody else.
Amen.
Well, sometimes when you're in it for too long, you kind of get stale. You don't you don't see new ideas or the right ideas, or you're trying hard to grab something that's not there, chasing the dragon. You might tail the dragon, which is heroin, but that's beside the point.
Well,
Dang it, Pacifica,
only
you got to
that.
put more in. You really got it on target.
Not only that, WWE has so much programming on nowadays. It's an oversaturation of the market.
Yeah.
And then you have these upstarts. You have TNA Impact Wrestling. You have all the Elite Wrestling, and they're all trying to vie for that audience. And
Right.
in some cases, you're still getting the same product that you would if you just stuck with WWE. It's not any different.
Now, is this a lot of it more on streaming services now?
You can find a lot of WWE's content on streaming services. They're still on USA Network. AEW is currently
They're on
airing their
USA?
programs on TBS and TNT. And then you have these independents that go around, and they're all trying to mimic what the big boys are doing.
Which is always the worst thing to do, because instead of trying to keep up with the Joneses, you gotta branch off on yourself. You gotta, if you're trying to keep up with the others, you're never gonna get ahead. You gotta get your own niche. You gotta get out there and have your own thing. Yeah, be better. It's like, okay, something that where you're gonna have to try to copy us.
Yeah. Keeping up
Mexican wrestling
don't pay the bills.
I mean, I was even telling a friend one time, we think it's bad with what we're seeing with Star Wars and Star Trek. It's the same thing happening in wrestling. You're not getting the good storylines. And when you do get a good storyline, they cut it just as quickly as they started.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff is affected, just like you're saying, Pacific. Everybody is affected by this piss poor, amateurish, plotting, planning, writing, staging, whatever you want to say. Depends on where it's
even
at.
The camera work sucks.
Well, even in professional sports, when they're going in there and what they do is like they're more eyed on movements than actually trying to do and play the game, which is what we're there for. We want to see the game, not a message.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You got to push the narrative now. Otherwise, you're a bad person.
Well, I'm a bad person.
Oh, I'm a hideous, horrible person.
I know. That's why I like you. Pacific is the worst of them all.
No,
that's right. That's right. If anybody wants to dispute it, come to the channel and we can debate it.
I love Pacifica.
I love Pacific too. Pacific chewed me up and spit me out. I was amazed I'm able to do this show after when I am out on there. He just
No, I've had a lot of fun doing streams with you, Baron.
It's always great to have you around too. I mean, everybody. I mean, of course, that guy down there is his first time, but John and Mike, and I wish some of the others would come on, but I can understand there's other things.
Hey, this is absolutely my first time on. I can't believe it. I'm still in shock.
So I am too.
But it's fun, isn't it?
The days that John and Mike haven't barbecued my ass.
Well, that's because it's the first time. Once you're in there, the first time around, then you get burned. They'll go after you. Trust me. There's no mercy.
Does that mean I got to bring KY with me?
Now we're starting to sound like one of Gary's show and our one of the King's show. Speaking of which. Has anyone seen the deer? The golfer with the deer?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. So of course I will have to give a parental advisory on this one. But parental advisory. This is what Baron After Dark is all about. So let me get this all ready here. This is one of the I blame 24/7 for this one. This is all him. And we had it on the Kings, and here we go.
The green, Peter. He is not distracted. because there is right now a deer sucking off another deer on the side of the green. Look at the replay. Stays down, stays through it. The ball releases to the hole, but once again, a deer is sucking off another deer.
Oh, my. Welcome to California.
Oh, God.
It's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's close.
No, it's not the worst thing, but dang, that is funny. I hear the wife dying in the other room. She missed it on the King show last Sunday. But I had to share that one for anyone who hasn't seen it. That is one of my. I want to find a way to download that because if I can beat 24 to it, that's when he finally gets monetized. He wants to play that when he gets a super chat.
Yep.
Holy moly, Rocky!
Yeah. And of course, Luke the Kook from WA, being the professional that he is, he's going how the commentator.
Cool.
Hello, Glenn. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I always love it when people recognize who the artist is for the Baron Tag from the original Star Wars comic series. Welcome, and thank you for stopping by. Welcome to the show, the insanity that we have going on here.
Hello.
I'm going to put that in there just in case anybody wishes to join in. I wasn't planning on having too long of a show tonight, but just wanted to get together, have a little bit of fun. I figured, see how this went. Maybe last Wednesday of the month, I would do a show like this where I just have the open mic, put the invites out there, have people join in, and just chew the fat about anything: wrestling, baseball, deer sucking off deer, stuff like that. All the good things in life that we.
I'd like to put in something. Hail to everybody that I haven't said hail to. I am so glad you're here.
Oh, we all are, and the ones that aren't chatting, all that. So, but like I said, I was going to keep it a little bit more of a shorter show. No offense to anybody, a little bit tired. I just want to sit back and say I've been going through a little bit of health stuff. I just want to share with everybody here. Going to be going through testing. It just kind of fatigues me out a little bit, but I still have I was going to say a naughty word, but a ton of fun with doing all these streams and going out and being part of all this.
Oh, yeah.
And what's nice about having shows like this, I can shut up and let other people talk.
That's the thing that scares me is
for a change, shut up.
Now and again, I tend to go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And I get tired of myself.
But, John, I really like it.
Huh? What?
I said I really like it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And that's the thing. I've had people come on my channel and pop in my streams, and they start apologizing for going on and on and on. I'm going, what? You're having a good time on the panel? You're talking about the current topic that we're talking about? So keep going.
Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah,
Mike, I really love it when you sound off.
What's that?
Was that all
said
that?
I really like it when you sound off.
Cool.
Well, and that's the one thing too with my, when I had to have the show, people afterwards, they start, oh geez, I was talking so much. And it's like, yeah, that's what I want. I want you to talk. You're the guests. I'm just the host. I really enjoy having people talking on there. They go, well, I see on the other streams you're talking. I said, well, that's the difference. Here I'm the host. You're the guest. Over there, I'm the guest. I'm supposed to be flapping my gums. If I'm not doing that, I'm not doing a service to the people who invite me on. The last thing you want is when you have people onto a show, they just go, yep, uh-huh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I did that. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really interesting. You don't want that.
Well, that's the thing. I really enjoy doing the shows, and yours and Raymond's especially two of the best shows out there.
Thank you.
Just good people, lots of fun, lots of laughs,
Mm-hmm.
and a little history and trivia here and there. A lot of things I know, a lot of things other people know. You get that kind of cross section, and of course, I'm big into the history of my area and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of America itself. So I enjoy finding out these new things here and there, and of course, seeing deer suck off other deer.
Oh yeah, that's the most important thing. And for Luke the Kook, Pacific show is going to be on the 9th at 8:00. And is that what time zone was that?
Eastern.
Eastern. So
8:00 Eastern.
8:00 Eastern on the 9th is when he's going to be having his wrestling show. Arr.
That's right, Darren. You, me, my channel in a week from now.
I can't wait to body slam that pencil neck geek, Brandon the anime guy, going on out there constantly talking about that Japanese art form all the time, dissing our stuff, dissing the stuff that we have here. That's the last thing. This is USA territory. Enough of that Japanese stuff. Brandon, you and me and that channel, we're going to do it mano a mano. We're going to sit back and see if that sun really rises or not.
That was excellent, Darren.
Yeah. That's the other guy. I just remembered George the Animal Steel. He was another one from my era.
Oh, he was my favorite.
Yeah, and
I loved watching
he
him.
was a math teacher or something.
Yeah, he was a teacher. And, I remember reading an interview, and he says, a lot of people are surprised to find out that this wrestler, this hairy wrestler, is a math teacher.
Yeah, and he always looks so crazy, especially after the green lollipops and with the tongue going. Really weird. But yeah, I just couldn't imagine him in a button-down shirt and trousers in a classroom with a bunch of kids. Unless he had a blender and an axe there, and we are a very strange individual. Or at least the character was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, once he got out there and started performing, he was that character.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, kind of like Alice Cooper, And I've met Alice Cooper. He's pretty quiet, down-to-earth guy for the most part. But once he hits that stage, that ain't Vince Furnier anymore. That's Alice.
How many people owe their entire existence, like Kiss, to Alice Cooper?
Yeah. Well, Kiss being the obvious. And of course, excuse me. Before Alice Cooper was Arthur Brown. And not many people remember him today. But he had that fire dish on his head, all sorts of weird stuff going on. But I remember seeing Alice Cooper on film in the 70s. I never got to see one of his shows till later. And it was just like, are you kidding? This is the Muppet Show on heavy metal. Weird.
I saw Alice Cooper do a drug public service commercial.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know who his big golf buddy was for the longest time, don't you?
Glenn Campbell, wasn't it?
Yeah, he and Glenn Campbell were golf buddies. They'd go out almost every week or almost every day, go golfing together when they could.
That's pretty neat. I enjoyed a lot of Glenn Campbell's stuff growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I still listen to Wichita Lineman.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that kind of takes me back to my childhood when that song was newer.
Mm-hmm.
And who's the other guy? Oh God, I can't remember his name. He used to be on the Glenn Campbell's TV show every so often. He was a recurring guest, but he did a song called Baking Soda, and I think that's on YouTube. I can't remember the guy's name. He ended up he
John, I
Mississippi
can't
River.
remember his last.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I'm going to do I need to get paid for this, but I don't. Anybody out there, get the Shout Factory app. You can get it for your, I think, Roku. You can get it for Apple TV. You can get it for your phone. They have the Glenn Campbell show on there.
Mm-hmm.
They have a show on there. You can watch for free. Obviously, you watch commercials on there because it's a free one. But yeah, get that Shout Factory. You'll get those old shows like that with the
Awesome.
with Glenn Campbell and such. If you like Space 1999 and those puppet shows like Jerry Anderson did and stuff like that, that's go for that one.
Cool. Let me see if I can find that.
And I'd like to throw in
that's where the screen is.
I'd like to throw in a plug for another outfit. And I love it very much because before we came on, I rotted my mind completely watching 3, not 1, but 3 of the Librarian movies. They're fantastic. They're gentle, they're kind, they're family. Yeah, okay, I'm Santa.
So, but yeah, I mean, those are great stuff. Alice Cooper, of course, Welcome to My Nightmare. And actually, Alice Cooper wasn't his name; it was the band's name, but it got so associated with him, kind of like Adam and the Ants, and it became Adam Ant, and various stuff was down that way.
Yeah, and then the kids became Simmons and Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not quite the same, but But John Harford was his name.
Yes.
Okay, John Harford. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he had a lot of good songs, and
the washing board song.
Yeah, and that baking soda song. We had the album that's on, and I think we wore that album out just playing that one song. Me and my sister. It was just.
I bet you did.
Hmm?
He bets he did.
I bet you did.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And it's weird. I consider myself more rock and roll or metal than anything else, but I listen to classical. I listen to some country, the older stuff, big band music, Kay Kaiser, some of the, Bing Crosby I'll listen to, that kind of stuff. So my musical tastes run the whole plethora. And it's just kind of weird. Some people do not get into any of the stuff I'm into. Some get into one thing and stay there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like most music. I don't like rap or any of that, electronic.
Rap, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm eclectic with my taste too. I love all sorts of different music forms out there. Of course, going from AC/DC to Cab Calloway sometimes in a night.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing where that music rabbit hole will take you as you go along.
From Mussorgsky to Metallica.
Ever hear of Fate's Warning? That
heard
name.
the name. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, that sounds familiar, but I wish I could put my finger on that more, but I did hear something on that name.
I'm all over the board in music. Believe me, I hate rap and I hate progressive jazz. I want real jazz, damn it.
Yeah. See, I like the smooth jazz. There's a lot of the stuff from early on that's just so fast and so. It's like the CGI in a Transformers movie. There's so much going on, I can't follow it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know.
As I like.
I know what Luke is saying right there, going from Louis to Slayer, and
yeah,
I'm not much of a Slayer guy, but I mean, I Louis to AC/DC or something like that for me, it's just amazing how. And I think some people who are in the music, especially that perform, play it, they have a very wide taste and variety of music because when you're I was watching some guy who was into like modern rock. I could be close to metal. I can't remember, but he's the more modern music, and he's just going over and over about Roy Clark and how he was such a great guitar player, and and
Damn
such like
right
that,
he was.
and how people appreciate other people, even though it might not necessarily be their cup of tea, or they do like it, but it's just like, well, I'm known for this, but I love all this other stuff too.
Mhm. Well, that's the thing, and there was such good music back in the day, and you weren't fooling with auto tune or any of this computerized stuff. I listen to stuff from Fleetwood Mac back in the '70s, all done on tape. Production values are flawless. The songs are great. The singing is great. The musicianship is great. Now it's they wheel some cute chick from high school into a studio, put her on auto tune, and suddenly she's Madonna or something.
Right.
It all sounds the same nowadays.
Yeah.
Where before you can tell what era it came from just by listening to it.
Yeah. And there's no mistaking Foghat or Nazareth when their stuff came out. And I still listen to that today. But I mean, there's some good bands out there,
because I like to listen to Kid Rock.
Yeah, I didn't like him in the early days, but the more I hear about him, the more I like him. And buddy of mine, TJ Bell, he's the guitar player in a band called Escape the Fate. They're really good. And he's also a Mason. He's in North Hollywood Lodge. But really good guy, great guitar player, and really good band. And there's a very few like that out there today. There's not many that I can remember the names of in the last 10 years. They're here and they're gone, especially these chick singers. Flavor of the week kind of thing.
Well, welcome back, Wendy. Vodka
Hi.
and Coke with a squeeze of lime. Ooh. And Glenn, is that's Shadow Fax Wax Axe Band on YouTube? That's the name of it. I think I might have found it. Please, if I am, does it have a kind of looks like a cat that you have for your banner on there, sir? So,
oh, cool. I'll check that out.
So, because I think
when you talk about great guitar players, let's go back to Roy Clark. I watched him play an acoustic guitar and make it sound like a bagpipe.
Yeah.
And I believe that's your page there, Glenn. I just plugged it. Hopefully, I plugged the right one there for you, sir.
Oh, cool.
So it doesn't mean put it up there. That doesn't mean anything. But yeah, I mean, you have that, and of course, Glenn Campbell was known for being a 12-string guitar.
I want to join you.
What? What was that, old man?
I said, Wendy, I love you. Can I join you in your drink?
Oh.
And Luke the Kook knows Escape the Fate. Excellent.
What? He's a cool DJ. That's why. I mean,
cool.
we have the name like Luke the Kook from WASD-FM radio.
Luke,
I mean,
I've never heard of them.
He's got to be the best there because he's FM. I was only AM, so.
How many of you remember a group way back in the 60s and 50s that outranked the Beatles? They were called the Kingston Trio.
Yes.
I've heard of them.
Yes, I've got at least 2 of their albums. And one of them is a live album. I'll never forget the one line from that between the songs. It's towards the end of the show, and the singer is telling the audience, now remember, don't drink and drive. You could hit a bump and spill the whole thing.
Yep, that's them. That was John.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
Yep, that was the Hungry Eye album, the live album from the Hungry
Yep.
Eye. Can
Yes.
you imagine going?
Yes, that
Going-
is.
Can you
I
imagine
love-
going back in time where you could just go down that
Batman
street, go from the
Club.
Hungry, the Hungry Eye, all the other ones, just go from club to club and get all that great music and entertainment.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's weird. We used to
I
have
really
that
love
in Wilkes-Barre.
hmm
But no more.
I mean,
You know, I'm
Yeah,
going to
still
really
though.
show my age. Jan and Dean.
yeah,
Yep. I remember. I think it was the Munsters they guested on once, and
I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear that.
they guested on the Munsters TV show once.
Yes.
you're welcome, Glenn. Welcome, Glenn. Any friend of Pacific is a friend of mine, so more than happy to help out. That's what we're here for, to help each other out.
And what's the other one? Well, the Everly Brothers, everybody's heard of.
New Christy Minstrels.
Don't know that one.
Oh, you don't know the New Christies?
Yeah, they
Oh,
were great.
Yeah, that's Green, this Green Day sing
Land
on the
of
far
Time.
side of the.
Oh yes,
Mhm.
my sister had a compilation album for all different artists, and that was on there. And the guy had a really forceful voice in
Yeah.
that.
That's
No,
Barry McGuire.
It's was that Barry McGuire?
It's Barry McGuire.
Okay,
But it was.
it sounded too adult for that song. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
hmm
Kind of like Jim Morrison. I never got into the Doors because he sounded too grown up for
Mhm.
that music, you know. Van Morrison was another one like that. Although I can listen to Van Morrison today more.
hmm
And Moondance is a classic.
Oh yeah, it's a lovely night for a moon dance. I'm not going to
Can
go
I
for
throw
it.
in
I
an
don't think it's
oddball? Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
Oh yes, yeah. A lot of cool stuff with Led Zeppelin. Of course, Stairway to
Mhm.
Heaven.
I got it for playing the Immigrant song on my speakers in my radio at loud full burst.
Gotta love it. God. Yeah, there was what one did they what song of theirs did they Puff Daddy do back when that Godzilla movie was coming out? Kashmir, was it?
It might be, yeah. Da da
I
da
don't know. I think
da da
you're
da
right, though.
da 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Cashmere. Da da da
'Cause
da.
they
Yeah.
did that live. I think it was on an MTV program, one of the award shows or something. But the drummer was just unbelievable. You know, this tall black man with a smaller than you would think drum set for that song, but he just nailed it to the wall 6 times over. Brilliant drummer. And he was having such a great time with that. Love seeing that.
You know, speaking of drummers, just saw Phil Collins. He did his last concert ever, and how frail he looks. So sad.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's had some health problems for quite some
Yeah.
time.
If you want to delay, you're taking a drink.
Mm. But yeah, there's the one live video I get a kick out of with him doing In the Air Tonight, and he's walking down one side of the stage singing it in, you know, very dramatic face. Walks across the stage, back up the other stairway, and there's a ramp or a mezzanine type thing. And as he's walking across that, the drum set comes up on an elevator, and he gets onto the drums and starts playing the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, boom, boom, and didn't miss a fraction of a beat. Just brilliant. And that guy was a genius.
Oh yeah,
The
Dan
funny thing
Fogelberg.
is, a lot of the good drummers never get credit. I mean,
Yeah.
Gene Cooper was one of the best. A
Uh,
lot of the others. And then they sit back and go, oh, look at that Ringo. He's shit.
Yeah,
Well, everyone
put him
says he
up
was.
against Louis Belson or
Yeah.
Buddy Rich,
Yeah, Buddy
Mm.
Richard.
and
Hmm.
it used to be in the old days the drummer got paid more than anybody else in the band because he was the timekeeper. Without him, you had nothing.
And how odd to have a drummer that actually was like the lead singer. I mean, like Karen Carpenter or Phil Collins. I mean,
Yeah,
you never would think that they were also the lead singer.
yeah, and she was an excellent drummer in her own right.
Hmm.
Yes.
And my mother played drums in the Crystal Band in Clark Summit when she was in high school. And
Really?
I still have her drum, and in one of the boxes here, I'll have to dig it out sometime. We have the Civil War drum. It wasn't actually Civil
You're
War. It
kidding.
was for the local militia. My great 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 grandfather was a drummer boy around the time of the Civil War, and he was drilling the militia who were going to be sent off to Harrisburg to actually join in the army.
Oh, shit. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and yeah, I'll have to dig that out for next time. I've
Yeah,
got
please
That's a
do.
museum piece.
yeah, and the drumsticks for that, they're longer than normal drumsticks. They're heavy
Yeah.
oak, and these things are about an inch in diameter. And you look at any other drumsticks, they're like 3/8 to half an inch, maybe a little more. But these things are just heavy, big. I mean, my God, you get hit with one of those, you're gonna know it for a month.
And I think we
I'm
finally
a real
lulled.
historian. And I
I
go,
think we
wait,
finally lulled Wendy Webb to sleep. So good night, Wendy. Again, sweet
Nighty
dreams.
night.
Wendy, good night.
Have a good night, Wendy.
We bored her.
We'll have to teach Olga to play drums.
Mm. Oh, I forgot to ask about Olga. Are you still there? How? When do you leave yet? How's Olga doing? Especially with everything that's going on over there. Yeah.
She was on Ray's stream last night, and was it last night? No, it was Saturday. And she said Olga seemed to be doing a lot better and was
good.
no longer traumatized. So,
Mhm.
she's coming along good. So that's a good thing. I hope someday she'll get on one of these streams because I want to meet this girl.
I do too.
Good
I
night.
always hear these stories about it.
Hope your surgery goes tomorrow.
And yeah, Peter Christ was a beast in the day too.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing that kills me is Paul and Gene slam him like he was the worst drummer ever. He took lessons from Gene Krupa. And I listened to the live album back in the day when it first came out, and the first 3 albums they did, that's Peter Criss through and through, and he was no slouch. He was damn good. No, he wasn't top of the line, but he was up there. And you listen to the solo that he did on 100,000 Years, and then actually watch the video now, and I'm kicking myself because I could never play that thing. And now that I see what he was doing, it's like, dummy, you could have done that. But, that's one of the reasons I gave up drums was, I just couldn't do the things he was doing.
Years ago, I saw a
job, and I had to get something with a volume control.
between Gene Krupa and, believe it or not, Jerry Lewis. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was good. Mickey Rooney was an excellent drummer.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
he
that's
was.
right.
Johnny Carson was actually quite good.
I
And
didn't
he
know.
was around with Louis Belson, so he and Buddy Rich, he picked up a lot from them.
Oh, Buddy Rich was great.
Ed Shaughnessy from the Tonight Show band, he was great.
Mhm.
He was a lot of fun to watch, actually. But, and of course, these guys, they weren't just playing what they're playing today, double bass, rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat. They were playing all your rudiments, your paradiddles, 5 and 3 and 7 stroke rolls and all this. and really going crazy with it, but they kept the fundamentals into what they were doing. It was beautiful to listen to. Nowadays, it's
Yeah.
all the same bloody thing, you know. And the really, for me, the last original sounding drummer was Bobby Rondinelli when he was with Rainbow, doing a cymbal solo with his hands. You know,
Oh, yeah.
that was really good. And let's see, who was the fellow who was with Ozzy Osbourne touring band?
Oh,
Curly hair,
Gosh.
kind of an extreme look to his face, very thin. Can't remember his name. God, I hate it when my brain didn't work.
yeah.
It'll come to me in about a month.
What's going to happen is John's going to is going to hit him at 2:00 in the morning, and he's going to freaking call me and tell me, "Hey, Barry."
It's happened before.
Uh,
You know,
Mike, who was your favorite drummers?
Gosh.
any episode.
I'd have to say Pete Best was one of my favorite. I mean, especially when you read into the history of the Beatles and, you know, the part that he played in the Beatles long before Ringo even became part of the band. And
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, there's a couple of good documentaries on him. And he was no slouch as a drummer. He was pretty good.
mhm.
He dropped out of the Beatles because of family.
Well, he was kind of run out.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was more a personality thing than anything else, is he didn't gel with Paul that much.
Hmm
But
Who does?
yeah, well, you know,
Well, what I understand is like when the other ones were going out when they were partying, Pete Best wasn't the partier, and he'd stay behind. He was kind of to himself,
yeah.
so it was like it wasn't like he was meshing with all of them. He was kind of like that outsider, and plus he had the good looks that was threatening John.
Yeah. Well, there's that. I mean, there's always something with the egos going on.
Hmm Right.
And I think that's kind of why Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons are the way they are. And
hmm
no disrespect to them, they've carried Kiss through what, 50 years now?
Oh God.
And, you know, that's kind of impressive.
Hmm
But, and of course, Paul Stanley back in the day was the showman. Yeah, he was the best front man in rock and roll. He played that stage like it was his own playground, you know, and he knew how to work an audience. He had a great voice back in the day. Nowadays, I hate to say it, but his voice is dead.
hmm
I don't think they're using backing tracks because I've heard some of the live videos and it's horrible. If they were going to play backing tracks, they'd use something good. But Paul back in the day was, you know, he was the master showman. And of course, Gene Simmons, no slouch on bass. Yeah, he's somebody who is much more than a thumper. You know, you get some of these guys who play just two notes the whole song, thump, 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 thump. You know,
hmm
where's the fun in that? You listen to the first three albums, especially, and you listen to him doing those 12-bar runs. It's just mind-boggling to associate that with the guy you're seeing on stage, because it's all blues-based. But really cool stuff he was doing. Not the greatest singer in the world, but not the worst. And of course, the demon persona was, again, master showmanship.
hmm Oh, I remember that back in the day. It was like you never saw them without the makeup, and they even had that big thing: is what do they look like underneath there, and
Yeah.
did all this stuff. And
Well, I didn't know until recently that I'm not the only person in the world who got the double platinum album and traced the faces, because they had the Kiss makeup faces embossed inside from photographs. And I was tracing those out and then trying to erase the lines of the makeup to see what they really looked like. Apparently, everybody who had that album did that.
yeah, it was a big shtick. It worked.
Yeah.
It.
You know, and the showmanship with the pyrotechnics, the lifting platforms and everything. That was bizarre and a lot of fun to see. I didn't get to see them in person
What's
back
your
in the day.
opinion on Kiss?
Hmm?
What is your opinion on Kiss, Mike?
Kiss, I can take him or leave him.
Mm. Yeah, that's pretty much where I am today.
Mhm.
I'm back
Mike
in the
wants to
day.
rock and roll. Mike wants to rock and roll all day and every night, but not just like the Kiss.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always like the AC/DC.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really?
What's great about AC/DC is no matter what, you feel pumped up and upbeat no matter what they're doing. They're just
Yeah.
that upbeat, pumping a bunch of crazy Aussies, rocking it out there. And of course,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how close that band came to the end when Bon Scott died. And it's like,
Mhm.
what are we going to do? What are we
Oh,
going to do?
yeah.
And then Back in Black came out, and that was, like they did better without him, sadly to
Blew the
say.
roof off. And
And
that
just
was
exactly how much coffee did one of them drink?
gotta wonder. Because you used to hear the tales of how Angus Young would sweat off 5 pounds a night on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And and the funny thing is, those guys were teetotalers. It was Bon Scott that was the one that was going out partying. Those, as they sat back and said, they want to sit around and drink tea after a show.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just him and Malcolm eventually got into trouble with the alcohol. He ended up
Yes.
going down the slope, but he managed to get himself back. Unfortunately, he got the Alzheimer's and a couple other things and passed away. And a brilliant songwriter, a brilliant guitar player. It's much more than just playing fifth chords, which are two-fingered chords. He was playing the full chord, all the strings that you could fit into a chord, and getting that really rich sound. And that's all Malcolm. Angus with
Yes.
the leads and the follow through was unbelievable.
Yeah,
And of course, Phil Rudd. There's a drummer that everybody thinks is just meat and potatoes drummer. If you can keep time in a band like that as tightly as he did, you got my respect, baby. I mean, he was like a Swiss watch, and from what I hear, he still is.
And I can understand Glenn when he was back saying his unpopular opinion about that after Bon. He's like, I can understand that because Bon Scott was such a great, powerful singer in there. Highway to Hell and all that. Long way to the top.
Well, he was the right guy for those songs and the right voice for those songs. But if he hadn't died, we wouldn't have Back in Black and For Those About to Rock, two of the greatest albums that were ever released. It's unfortunate that Bon died.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. It's but that was in the era when Back in Black came out. The first boom boxes came out. And I won't say the name of what we called them, but the second word was black. And I remember somebody brought one to school, and it was one of these big, carry on your shoulder things, and they're playing Back in Black on that first time I ever heard the song. And it was like, wow. And this thing you could hear all the way to the other end of the school. Unbelievable. And I was sold from day one on that.
And of course, going with Hell's Bells, you said, the chiming of the bell, then it's like, wow, it's like just the instrument, playing with the instrument, what the magic they did on that one.
Yeah, the mood, the production values, everything, and you see that used in a lot of bands after that. That's how heavy metal song intros were invented, but it doesn't have the same vibe with other bands with the songs they do most of the time. Some do it very well. I got it. But nobody ever really recaptured that magic.
I heard on a boombox. A guy came back from Japan, and we played it. It started out with, "We gotta get out of this place. It's the last thing I
Yeah.
And it burns into my memory to this friggin' day.
Jeez.
And damn it, I still love that song.
Yeah.
What was about 4 or 5 years ago? I took the long-suffering Mrs. Stagg down to Lincoln, Nebraska to see Billy Joel because she's a big Billy Joel fan, and I like Billy Joel too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh my!
And I really like him, but nothing like the long-suffering. I mean, she'd leave me in a heartbeat if Billy says, "Hey, come." And it's like she's gone. And I couldn't argue that. But we're standing in line.
I'll be right back.
Okay. But I was standing in line outside of the place, and I just kind of went through it forlornly going, I'll never get a chance to see AC/DC in concert because, they're coming to the end, the problems that they're having. And we get in there, and about halfway through the show, Billy goes, "Yeah, I'm going to bring out my roadie chainsaw, and you can just boo him off stage all you want, it's all, Jack's having fun." And then Billy grabs his guitar. He's not even on the piano. He grabs a guitar, and all of a sudden you hear that da 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 da. It's like, holy crap! They're playing Highway to Hell, and they just rocked that place down. That place was alive afterwards. I mean, it was alive before that, but the energy just took off for the rest of that concert after Chainsaw went out there and they did that Highway to Hell. And it's like, that's the closest I was going to get to an AC/DC moment. It's like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah, Billy Joel is a king. Some of the stuff that each album having a different concept of how he was going about, from his New York beginnings all the way up to like Uptown Girl, Your California, type songs as he went along on that one. My wife's favorite is of course, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, which I think is I think it's brilliant. How he took 2 songs, brought them together with that bridge because he had 2 songs he didn't know where to go with. And it's like, hey, I can put these 2 songs together and made Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. But for the Missus and I, our song, because of our, how our relationship was, you may be right, you may be crazy. I may be crazy. And that was the song he ended the concert with. It's like, we're going through the whole concert. It's like, oh, he's not going to play our song. And boom, there it was at the last song. It was like, oh, what a way to end the concert, our song,
That's very cool.
Your mother's big song is Piano Man.
Yeah.
John, did you leave?
Yeah, I had to go.
You believe I didn't see that you? No, I'm you.
I had to go wee. I don't know how Doomcock does 8 hours without a pee break.
Well, he does probably. You don't see him on there. He probably has that little jug down there, and it's like, he might be doing the Harvey voice, and while he's doing the Harvey voice, he's yeah.
Or he's got a deer there.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Does anyone remember a strange musician from Minnesota who did something called Lay Lady Lay?
Yes, I remember the song. I don't remember the gentleman who did it.
Bob Zimmerman.
It was a great song.
Yeah, Bobby Zimmerman, also known as Bob Dylan.
Oh, okay.
He was from the range there, don't you know? Up there in the range there, up in Heavy, Minnesota, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know he was from Minnesota.
He influenced so many people. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think he was one of the few Jews that they had up in the Iron Range. He always had back. He was kind of felt a little left out, being the only lad from the tribe up there.
Well, that's the thing. There isn't a whole lot that I know about Minnesota. I mean, St. Paul, Minneapolis, you hear of. Duluth, Mesabi, and Iron Range Railroad. Rocky and Bullwinkle at Frostbite Falls, which if I ever get out there,
yay, Rocky!
I love Rocky and Bullwinkle. I thought it was just awesome.
Wasamata, you.
Yeah.
You may not believe this, but the University of Minnesota actually all stopped when that show came on the air, and everybody had to watch it.
No
That's
kidding.
the truth.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how Peter Ustinov had his, his My Russia, always talking about My Russia. I
Yes.
got to do My Minnesota because there's just so much about that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is interesting. You recorded a demo at Paisley Park in Prince's studio.
Oh, no kidding.
Down the
Wow.
road.
Yep. Yeah, his Paisley Park is not too far from me. And I tell you, I had two opportunities, and I never, unfortunately, not able to take it up. One was when I was going through broadcasting school, and they say, "Hey, we're going to go out to Paisley Park because it was brand new, and we
Yeah.
want to, show, a state of the art studio." And I
Mhm.
was unable to go for that one. And of course, I kicked myself. Then I knew someone who was in a band. His name was Paul Rogney, or is he's still alive? And he goes, "Hey, we're going to go to the Paisley Park. You want to come along?" And I couldn't go. So those were my two opportunities to go there before it
Yeah.
became a tourist attraction. Chanhasen's answer to Graceland right now.
Yeah.
My nephew did many sets for his movies or music videos,
Mhm.
and he didn't think a whole lot of him.
Yeah. Well, I was never a big fan of Prince and his music,
Mhm.
but I saw him do a couple of guitar solos that were absolutely mind-boggling. I don't think Randy Rhoads could have done better. I mean,
Yeah,
he was a phenomenal musician. You got to give him that.
right. That's what a lot of people sat back and say. He's not a good singer, but he's a great. Was a great guitar, one of the best guitar players out there.
Yeah,
People sat back and say. And
He was
did you
also
ever
a
see?
great showman.
And when Harrison died, did you ever see that? Where was it? Tom Petty? I can't remember who all out there, but they're
um,
playing "My
Jeff
Guitar Gently
Lynne.
Weeps." I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Oh,
And then
I remember.
yeah,
Yeah. Yes, yes,
and
yes.
Prince was part of that. All the guitar players out there, like four or five of them doing that concert on there.
Yeah,
It's like, wow. It's like you get all those great guitar players, and he's just jamming away. How about the only thing they could have got is Mark Knopfler up there? I don't know why they didn't get Mark Knopfler up there to play because he's a great guitar
yeah.
player as well.
Well, that's the thing. Mark Knopfler covers the entire spectrum. He
Hmm.
can play any kind of music on any guitar.
Yeah.
And he's another one like Joe Bonamassa who's got that wide spectrum of what he can do. You
Hmm.
know, but yeah, great guitar player. And I'm not usually a fan of the mass band thing where they bring in every guitar player from everywhere because usually it sounds like crap. But that one
Yeah,
sounded great.
it did. It was that's what was amazing about it is because you had those three egos, those are four egos, and they also had those styles, but yet they complement each other, especially on that song. I mean, that is a great song, Mike Jacquard, Gently
Yeah,
Weeps.
yeah. And I
That's my
think
Almost
mom's favorite song.
the sax, the trombone.
I got to have Glenn come on the show sometime here. He
yeah,
sounds like
definitely.
he's got a lot of stories about music in Minnesota.
Oh wow.
Got to find a way to get tag with you there, sir. We can hopefully we can rap a little bit sometime on the show. I would
Yeah,
love to have that. Music, Minnesota. What
yeah.
can go wrong? What can go wrong?
Ace Frehley, my first guitar hero.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the first guitar I made was for Ace Frehley, but it wasn't for Ace Frehley. It was for Mr. Spock dressed up as Ace Frehley. I had the 8-inch Star Trek dolls. The black makeup was uh, electrical tape that I'd cut out with an X-Acto knife. The outfits were made out of tin foil. The platform boots, I had popsicle sticks that I glued to the feet and stacked and shaped with a file. And I had the whole KISS stage with the Christmas lights for the lighting rig. And you remember the old Magic Cube flash cubes for the Instamatic cameras?
Yeah.
I took them apart and I took each individual bulb and hooked them up to a battery and a switch. So they were the explosions. And that was a lot of fun. I was about 13 or 14 when I did that. But I had a lot of fun with that. But I made this Les Paul guitar out of ABS plastic that you get at the hobby store and just, tried to make it as close as possible to Ace's Black Can-Am Les Paul. And it worked out really well, surprisingly. But, that was a lot of fun to play with. And was my first venture into guitar building. And then later started getting into it for real.
Oh, you were last time I saw. I can't remember when was Vet for Hire and you on Ray's show or whatever. You were kind of showing that guitar that you were working on. How's that coming along?
It's coming along. I've had some setbacks because one of the areas where it's carved, I carved right through to the control cavity.
Okay.
And the bottom edge, well, keep this a secret.
Okay. Everybody, this is going to be a secret. So we're swearing everybody a secret.
All right.
Comes the word.
Yeah, it was, let me get this right. Right in over here, I had to replace a large piece of wood in the back. And then this entire area here, I had to replace. And I'm still working on that in the back. I've got the replacement wood in and smoothed over, but I got to redo the control cavity for that. But, the carvings are coming along, and I'll put this into a little context. Just give me a second. There it is.
Get a nice look at those swords back there. Okay.
Look familiar? If it had eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then working on that.
Wow.
Yeah, he's very talented in that. He's multi-talented in many things. What we need to do is we need to get him and Fet for Hire together and do some playing.
Yeah. And then
The Burr and I both know
the neck
a
is
man
almost
who
done.
you can't believe the banjos and guitars he makes, and they're sucked up like you can't believe.
Who's
That
that?
He's not known as a great banjo and guitar maker, but his name is Leonard Bjorky,
Mm.
and the Baron knows who he is.
Yep. Go. Yeah. I do
Yeah.
know he is. That looks really.
Well, this was it. This was a lot of fun, and this is real fez felt from Joanne's Fabric.
Oh, really?
And the sign here and the Ames were all cut out with an X-Acto knife, and says Ames on it, just like his, only it's backwards because cameras and Bill Gates is a jerk. But that's come along pretty well.
Hey, neat. The Masonic Lodge on there. I love it.
Yeah, Shriners. Oh, the symbol in back of me there. And
All right, I think it's just talking about the Shriner logo on your on the guitar.
Okay, yeah. And well, you've seen the Fez, right? The one I have.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, yeah, that was my grandfather's, and I went into Shriners a few years ago. I'm lapsed in my dues about 6 years, so I got to get that taken care of. But that was right at the time I was moving back home, so I had no money. Well, no money I could spend, really. But yeah, I've been working on this. It's coming up on a year, and there's a lot more to do on it. Once it's all together and I get the thing finally painted, get the nut slots filed exactly as they should be, and a few other things. But hopefully he'll enjoy it. And the one thing I regret is I couldn't find something to make the center area of the guitar, which is right now covered with tape, but it's carved flames that are painted with the orange, yellow, and red. I would have loved to have had it set up with LEDs to make that really, push the button in it and the flames pop up. But we'll call this a prototype for the time being. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun to work on.
Well, I got to thank Glenn for his kind words. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. Oh, And yeah, Echo Base Network. Yeah, good old Coach. I'd like to have Coach come on here sometime. He's a great guy. Even Nick, he's a great guys too.
Yeah.
Those Star Wars guys. Yeah, those are wonderful chaps. Wonderful chaps. I like dealing with Coach. Poor Coach has to put up with me sometimes.
Mhm.
My best friend, going back for more years than you can believe, and more years than most people are alive.
Yeah.
5'22" is a Masonic Lodge member, way up there in ranking.
Yeah, he's
I love you
Scottish
dearly.
right.
I'm not a Masonic Lodge member, but
Yeah,
nevertheless,
that's one of the things that is kind of a misconception, as they call it a ranking. Third degree is your Blue Lodge, and there is no higher rank in all of Freemasonry than that. Your 33rd degree and the Scottish Rite degrees, or if you've gone Royal Arch like I have, all those degrees have higher numbers and they're extensions of what you learn in Blue Lodge, but the ranking is still third degree is the highest.
yes.
But
And he has the higher rating numbers,
yeah.
but he always refers to himself as third degree.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing, and there's so many people have gone into the in Hollywood and entertainment in general have gone into the Scottish Rite. Ernest Borgnine was a 33rd degree, and Glenn Ford, I believe, was 33rd degree. He was
Love
actor
them
in
both.
the 60s. You know, what's that?
I love
You
both
love
those actors.
Oh yeah, I love Glenn Ford. He was funny, especially in Tea House of the August Moon. That was a
Yeah,
great. Him and Paul Ford were both wonderful in that. But
but 5'22", I think, is like a 7th degree or something like that.
what is it?
I think he's moved up to like 7th degree or whatever, 8th degree.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. There's 32 general degrees or capitular degrees in Scottish Rite, and then 33rd is an honorary degree. And I believe that has to do with service to the community and masonry in general. And you know, a lot of cool guys go in for that and have got that. Politicians, musicians, actors, regular guys who are big in their community, do a lot of community service work, charity work. Very cool stuff.
You take care of
Good
Luke
old
the Kook and that.
22 is Scottish Rite.
Yeah. In Royal Arch, you've got the first three. Then there's actually 4 degrees, 5 degrees in Royal Arch. One of them we don't do in the United States, which is Virtual Past Master, because it doesn't fit with what we do in America. They do it in England and a lot of Europe. Then there's the 3 degrees in Cryptic Masonry, which is Select Masters or Council of Select Masters. And then the Knights Templar degrees, there's 3 degrees in there, although they're called orders. But same thing, only different. But that comes out to what? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So for what Royal Arch and all that is York Rite. So there's 13 York Rite degrees, and then the 32 plus the honorary and Scottish Rite.
And
5'22" is really big into the Knights Templar.
Yeah, I'm a past commander, and that was at Jim Thorpe, Packer Commandery 23. And my grandfather, his father, his father-in-law and his two sons were all Knights Templars. And then that's their swords I have on the back wall here. And one of the best nights of my life was when I became commander of my commandery, was being presented with my great-grandfather's sword. And that was just real special night. I'll never forget that. But and on my mother's side, my grandfather was also a Knight Templar. My grandfather's cousins in Scranton were Knights Templar. My dad was basically the only one in the family who wasn't a Mason, and it just wasn't his thing for some reason or another. Of course, it wasn't mine for a long time. I joined in 2011, and I'd waited way too long, really, because I enjoy it so much. Great people. I love the ritual work. I love the work that we do. It's a lot of fun, and it just doesn't get better than that. It's like doing these live streams. You meet so many cool people. You have so much fun with it. There's certain things you take seriously. There's other things you have a few laughs with. And
Baron,
just great.
do you want to say anything about 5'22" and describe him for the group?
Yeah, actually, 5'22" means he's 6'10", but he's actually shorter now. He lost a few inches. He's a big, tall guy, and and when he was younger, he kind of looked like a Kurgan from Highlander.
Cool. Yeah, we had a guy in Lake Cary Fire Company, and he was 7'8", and boy, he actually did have to lean down to get through the doorways and all this. But really great firefighter, and somebody you could really count on at a pinch.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to have to submit.
22 was so agile because he was in all this martial arts shit. He could walk up to a door frame and put his foot on top of the door frame and tie his shoelaces.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Well, gentlemen, we've been at this for a couple hours already.
Oh wow!
I love that we get together and how the time goes, but sadly, I'm going to have to call it quits. My apologies.
Shit.
So of course, John, you're hanging out in the various chats out there. So and all that. You don't have a channel yourself, Mike. Is there anything you want to plug there, Pacific, my brother? Besides, of course, go ahead, plug your wrestling again, the big wrestling show.
Please do.
Well, of course, on April 9th, you, myself, Brandon the Anime Guy, Stone Loki, the Padawannabe, King Phoenix, and Quidman Jenkins will be on my channel talking pro wrestling, past, present, future. Cool. So it's going to be a great conversation. We're all coming at it from different perspectives. Some of us still watch wrestling. Some of us only watched it to a certain period of time. And
that's great.
And then tomorrow, I am having the box score Mount visit with Cash Money, Whoopa Troopa, and the Smoking Patriot, and we're previewing the 2022 Major League Baseball season. And then next Thursday, season 4 of the box score itself starts. And I'll recap as many Cub games as I can and give you my honest opinion like I always have.
Cool.
So if there's a game where the Cubs, well, they sucked, I'll tell you, they sucked. Yes.
Awesome. Well, old man and Mike, it was a pleasure to meet you guys and talk to you finally.
Pleasure to meet you, John.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you, old man.
It was always my Baron.
It's a pleasure to have you guys.
And of course, I just have to share this one last time before we go.
Green Peter, he is not distracted because there is right now a deer sucking off another deer on the side of the green. Look at the replay. Stay down, stay through it. The ball releases to the hole, but once again, a deer is sucking off another deer.
I couldn't picture another way of ending the show except with that. I mean, I don't know how that goes.
Remember, the fan club is here.
Yep. I don't. And of course, I might as well plug my.
Love it.
I can't
All
believe how
right.
privileged I am to be with you guys. I mean, Mike and John, I can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
Well,
Well, I'm
glad you're having
glad
a good time.
glad to have you here on the show. Your first appearance on YouTube. Probably won't be the last now.
Thank
I
you.
might as well plug. I'll probably plug myself here as we're going on. Of course, as you know, every Wednesday, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time here on this this YouTube channel. I have my Baron After Dark. Please join in. And of course, every Sunday at 5:15 Central Standard Time, it's the Prime Time Kings with 24/7 Fusion Media, Fat Steven Seagal, Vigilante Williamson, and yours truly. Please go catch that show. You never know what the heck's going to go on over there. We never can stay on topic. So I hope everybody will join us for that as well. Well, gentlemen, I thank you all for joining me for that first open mic. I intend to try to do this a little bit more often. I think this is fun, just to have this little chewing the fat. And please come on back when we have this again. And and of course, everybody in the chat, Glenn, great to have you come and find us here. Of course, Luke the Cuckoo left us. Of course, the long-suffering Mrs. Tag. Who else do we have? Whitney Webb, of course, who is probably in La La Land right now, because getting ready for that big surgery to do tomorrow. Who else do we have on here? I knew that we had the lovely Sherry was here. Courtney, Zax. Make sure I try to get everybody who's in the chat as best as possible. I can only go so far. And if I miss anybody, my apologies. I don't mean to miss anybody, but thank you all people who are lurking in there. Thank you for being here. We love all of you. You're the reason why we're here. So for my guests and myself, Baron Ormantag, I wish everyone here a fantastic night.
Have a great night, everybody.